there, kids! It's me, Count Flatula!
Welcome to Backlog Quest, where we creep through the crusty crypts of our game libraries in search of secret relics. My name is Boss Sauce.
And I'm Roland Coons. And together, we are the two-headed hero.
Vampires. Over the last few hundred years, tales of the notorious bloodsuckers from beyond the grave have been told in countless ways.
We've seen them portrayed on screen as subhuman monsters, brooding demigods, sparkly emo lads, and everything in between. No other Dracula-filled drama quite compares to the mixture of growing pains and undead slaying that comprises Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Whether you're referring to the 1992 film, which contains the best on-screen death of Pee Wee Herman that the world has ever seen, or the 6-season TV series that spawned a coffin load of spin-offs, comics, novels, and yes, even a few hack-and-slash video games, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was, and still is, an indisputable cultural phenomenon.
I really liked when Pee Wee died in Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, that was good too. A little less bloody though. Originally, we wanted to do a video on the most interesting and unique game from 2020, however, it's still on hiatus and we want you to experience it for yourselves, so we've diverted our attentions elsewhere this month.
Our subject of today's backlog quest has planted the Buffyverse into its heart like a sturdy wooden stake. Enter Slayer Shock, a low-poly bloodsucker bashing shooter with immersive sim and roguelike elements that takes place in small-town Nebraska, which everyone knows is a classically vampire-rich locale.
Slayer Shock was released in 2016 by indie micro studio Minor Key Games, a two-man crew consisting of industry veterans Jay Kyle and David Pittman. Minor Key already had a handful of notable releases under their belts, including the cyberpunk stealth crawler Neon Struct, and the excellent Lovecraftian action roguelike Eldritch.
And I think also one of them is a vampire.
They probably both are, and one of them wears a beard so that you don't know.
So, tiny studio?
Check.
Game with an unusual concept?
Check.
Fewer than 100 Steam user reviews?
Checkity check check check.
Looks like we've got a perfect candidate for another episode of Backlog Quest.
Booting up the game brings you face to face with this kinda ugly main menu. Slapping that new game button sends you into a short tutorial sequence where you learn the ins and outs of sneaking, breaking and entering, and Dracula dusting. And when we say dusting, we mean it in the literal sense because, just like in a certain Joss Whedon vehicle, bloodsuckers blow up into a fine cloud of corpse powder whenever they die.
Anyway, after the tutorial, you wake up in the year 1996 on the floor of a small coffee shop, which serves as your base of operations. Here, you meet the randomized cast of characters that serve as your support squad, where you can spend dust to train, arm up, and track down the big bads. Vampire dust. I mean, I get that it's rare, but why is it so valuable?
And how do you even collect it? You ever try to pick up a pile of dust? Ain't easy.
Do you have like a special vampire broom and a special vampire dustpan?
A vampire dust buster, perhaps? Yeah, that's right, dust. Don't know what it's used for or why it's valuable, but the powdery remains of dead vampires is the only accepted form of currency in Slayer Shock, and you're gonna need a lot of it to take on the multitude of Marcelines that are thrown your way. So if you're anything like me, you're gonna dress up your Slayer as She-Hulk, paint your nails properly, and get right to work.
The meat of the game is mainly combat, and much attention was placed on speed and mobility here. Sneaking, dashing, and mantling all feel pretty responsive. Double jumps and a stealthy slide can be unlocked with enough dust. Enemies can be staggered with a push or by jumping on their heads like an angsty teenage Mario brother. However, the most important move is the ability to sprint in any direction, which allows you Slayers to dodge vampire lunges and avoid becoming vampire lunches.
Every good Slayer needs an arsenal, and Slayer Shock provides a coffin load of tools. Finding a bracelet seller allows you to buy accessories that fundamentally change how the hunter controls and fights. Standard vampire hunting fare such as stakes and crossbows are joined here by more exotic entries like katanas, nail guns, a super soaker full of holy water, and a strangely powerful camera flash that sends vampires into a blind rage.
I bet the vampires just don't like paparazzi.
It's true. They're just like, oh man, I can't even see myself in a mirror. My hair could be all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah, woke up like this.
Yeah, right? No filter, no makeup. Hashtags.
And it's bad.
Dude, they didn't even have hashtags in 1996, so I don't know.
Oh, which hashtag should I use, Renfield? Come on, you are supposed to be my social media manager.
Renfield, what is TikTok? I thought that was the sound my grandfather clock makes. While I do lament the complete lack of traps in the arsenal, there's a delightfully satisfying shotgun that also doubles as a remote door opener. Throw in some multiple ammo types for each weapon, and you're gonna be shredding fang heads by the dozen in no time.
That's not to say you'll slay with impunity. Even the lowliest minion can quickly suck you dry, in a bad way, and these ghouls will pop out of coffins and chase you down through the hallways when you least expect it. Sheer enemy numbers somewhat hide the fact that the AI is wildly inconsistent. Stealth is simplistic and sort of vestigial beyond the early game. The undead also apparently find windows confusing. Wait, Renfield, what is this tiny door? It's right in the middle of the wall. Renfield, this door, it is made of some kind of glass.
It's master, that is a window.
On the other hand, your foes will investigate noises, retreat, run for help, and prioritize killing hostages when you get detected. If you stumble across a werewolf, you can even bait it into doing your dirty work for you. Generally, Slayer Shock is more fun when taking a risky speedrun approach. Rush your objectives, cluster your foes together, and then carve them down to size with katana swings and shotgun blasts before dancing out of the way of their claws and jaws. Bashing the bloodsuckers is slapstick and satisfying due to the fact that they wear goofy outfits and stupid haircuts and die with ridiculous screams. These details do a lot to drive home the developers' love for the game's B-horror inspirations.
Missions are procedurally generated affairs taking place in spooky scenarios like a nature preserve, or a community college, or a suburb.
A spooky suburb!
Renfield, it is my greatest fear!
The Homeowners Association! That lawn is not up to code!
The levels could maybe stand to have some more interactivity, but a clever slayer can choose to stick to the shadows, smash windows, and hack down doors to create points of egress or escape routes from the crowds of Edward Cullen cousins crammed into every cranny. There's also a robust save system, keeping Slayer Shock from attaining that often aggravating permadeath difficulty found in so many other games that carry the roguelike tag.
Since each area has a threat rating and certain objectives are far more difficult than others, choosing a mission is a strategy on its own. Do you go for some shiny new gear? Do you play it safe to gather some dust while the danger increases in other neighborhoods? Or do you tackle a tough mission in order to regain control of a region, even though it might mean a guest appearance by the big bad?
Slayer Shock is played out over seasons, just like the show it emulates. A season ends when you either kill the big bad evil guys, or lose control of all 5 map territories.
Losing a mission raises your threat, potentially locking out entire areas for the rest of the season. Therefore, it's in your best interest to not lose and to gather the dust required to research the locations and weaknesses of the BBEGs as quickly and efficiently as possible. With every step you take towards the inevitable conflict, the head vampires will taunt you in your dreams and raise the stakes
I don't get it.
by initiating random events. These events can make your life as a slayer slightly easier or much harder.
Some of these post-mission events just add innocuous flavor, like when your team members hook up with each other, argue, or catch up on homework. Sometimes these are useful, like when the neighborhood watch gets together to go on a staking spree and knock a few points off the threat level. Other times, one of your shopkeeper pals will go MIA until you step in to rescue them, or they'll be straight up killed, forcing you to resupply in the field. Or vampires will poison the brewery and cause mass panic. Or rob your house and raid your precious dust stash.
Final showdowns are long and tough affairs filled with hordes of toothy abominations, spike traps, and elite mobs. After the masters go down in a slow-mo blaze of glory, the season ends and your Slayer is treated to a TV guide-style breakdown of every mission, as well as an era-appropriate theme song. Successfully battling the biggest bad guy at the end of Season 5 also rewards you with legacy points, and retires your Slayer, passing the torch to an all-new randomized cast. These legacy points can be used to give your descendants some powerful buffs as they start the whole cycle all over again.
Some powerful buffies? Overall, Slayer Shock is a strange sculpture of a game. Rough-hewn and ambitious, but ultimately unfinished. The first few hours are super addictive and engaging before the difficulty kinda levels off and repetition sets in, and an entire series arc can be completed within 5 or 6 hours. While its $20 price tag feels a bit high, the game is often on sale for pennies on the dollar, and it's well worth it for players that love a good ghoul hunt.
It seems that Minor Key has abandoned the project due to lack of interest. Minor Key Games, if you guys are seeing this, please consider revisiting Slayer Shock. There's a firm foundation here. With a few tweaks and additions, it could be a comeback hit in the rapidly growing realm of indie immersive sims.
Our verdict for Slayer Shock: it's a vampire game that doesn't suck.